Greetings. This is Valerie Wyllys, host of the Podcast for Freedom. Today is July 20th, 2021, and I'm updating the introduction to my parliamentary law class that teaches Robert's Rules of Order as a podcast on Patreon, and also is offered for free on podcastforfreedom.com. So welcome, and I'm glad you're here. So why the heck is Wyllys trying to teach us about Robert's Rules of Order? Well, I ran for U.S. Senate in 2018 and 2020, and I ran as a constitutional conservative on the U.S. Taxpayers Party in 2020. They're also known as the Constitution Party nationally. And by the way, I had votes stolen from me in real time. And also, Trump won Michigan, just so you know. I was always fascinated with the U.S. Senate as I was officially on the ballot and ran for this office. I have invested the last 5 years of my life since 2016, when I stumped for Trump, in learning everything I could about Michigan, the U.S. Senate seat in Washington, D.C. I found 2 or 3 historic texts that explained all about how the colonial U.S. Senate Assembly and the colonial U.S. House Assembly worked, functioned, and carried out the business of we the people. I was always very curious about the assemblies in colonial America, how they worked, when we were still a republic, and how they ran their assemblies. So I got very interested in colonial parliamentary procedure of the assemblies, and I did further studies in parliamentary law and Robert's Rules of Order, which came later. So about 2 years ago, with my interest being pushed by running for the U.S. Senate seat in D.C., I started to laser focus on the rules of running assemblies. I know more than I probably should, but I also use Robert's Rules of Orders when I was the chair of the Republican Party in my county in Michigan. I have actually used it practically and in meetings. What is the reason why you need to learn Robert's Rules of Orders, especially if you are forming assemblies? Well, now, the biggest reason why is in the first part of our country, when the U.S. House and U.S. Senate assembled or were in assembly, not only in their states and their townships where they were running assemblies, but also at the top levels of our country, they followed parliamentary law and parliamentary procedure. They followed rules and protocols to run their meetings with and to protect their meetings from outside influence. So the representatives in these assemblies could get the work of the people done. So the assemblies could be effective and powerful and achieve goals and work for we the people. So how did they do this, you might ask? They did it with parliamentary procedure. And anyone that says otherwise is lying to you. Check this out for yourselves. The U.S. House and U.S. Senate assembled bodies created parliamentary procedure. In 1876, the first Robert Rules of Order was written based on what he saw in the U.S. House and Senate. Robert's Rules of Order came much later. He wrote about what he saw and popularized it with the public. This is what I will be teaching to you at podcastforfreedom.com. Robert's Rules of Order. This class is gratis. This class is free, and it will be posted on our website for everyone to learn. Men, women, children of all ages are welcome to learn and grow and understand what it means to be a responsible member of your local assembly with an equal voice. Your voice matters, but for it to matter, it must be heard. That is why you need to learn Robert's Rules of Order, so that when you go to your local township or county assembly, your voice will matter. I'll give you some reasons why. Let's say in your state, in our state of Michigan, or any state of the nation, or in the world, you started a county assembly, which is in the Bill of Rights, the right to peaceable assembly and redress the grievances of public servants, our government. We need to get very involved in our government at all levels to let our presence and our wishes be known. We need to sit in on every government meeting and supervise our public servants. How do you keep order in your assembly meeting, you might ask? Without order, anyone can come into the meeting and disrupt your assembly meeting. Do not let just anyone into your assembly meeting. That is not pre-approved into the meeting. Do you understand what I'm saying? Only the people who live in that county or township can be a member of that assembly and have the right to speak at the meeting, because that assembly has to do with that county or township only. So if a guest or someone who does not live in the county, comes into your assembly and tries to speak, they cannot. It is unlawful and not approved by the assembly members. They have no sway inside your assembly meeting. Now, let's say you let guests in, and the assembly votes and approves to let a guest speak about a specific topic. And the guest comes there and speaks on that topic, but then changes topics. That guest has no authority to speak on anything except what the assembly members voted on and nothing else. All it would take is one member standing up and stating the following: I object. As a member of this assembly who lives here, I object to this new topic. The membership has not authorized you to speak on this topic, and you need to cease and desist. Or you need to stop talking. I move that this guest is done talking. A vote, and then they would take a vote of the membership. A possible discussion would be held, and basically that guest would be done speaking. That is an example or a sample of what could happen. Guests in assembly meetings need to understand that this meeting is not a free-for-all. They are there for a certain purpose and a certain topic. Private agendas are not welcome or tolerated. Whenever a topic comes up that was not approved prior to the event by the assembly can object and stop it. For example, do not allow slander in your meetings. Slander is actionable in a court of law. Do not allow anyone to come into an assembly meeting and slander people. In the U.S. House and U.S. Senate, they also never allowed slander, and neither should your assembly. The House and Senate did not allow people to mention particular names, and one member could not speak the name of another. All questions had to be addressed to the moderator, and one member of the assembly could not speak to another member, only to the moderator or the chair. For example, you would say, quote, a member has brought up a certain topic and I am vociferously objecting to this idea. And then you would go on and explain why. But you would never mention the person's name that you're objecting to, because you're talking about the motion, not the person. This elevates the conversation to a higher level of professionalism, which is what we are all trying to do and striving to do. Elevate the way we treat each other. Again, do we want a warring assembly with people stabbing each other in the back? Or are we running a peaceful assembly where people can disagree but do it the parliamentary law way? All bad behavior does is cause contention in the meeting, worry, fear, and destroys relationships. It is just a choice. Will you have a warring assembly or will you have a peaceful assembly? This is the reason why some patriot groups who say they are for we the people, that are not really assembling, are called assembly smashers. You need to be aware of them. Do not allow or tolerate anyone disrupting your assembly meeting. These same rules apply to assembly members as well. We need to elevate our speech, how we talk to one another, and in general, people respect each other. But the assemblies need to be shining examples of the best in us, not the worst. Again, we want a peaceful assembly as our Bill of Rights directs us. It is the sergeant at arms' job, the moderator's job, and the member's job to keep order and keep the assembly protected from negative outside influence and assembly smashers. Here in my class, you will learn how Robert's Rules of Order works, how to use it, and how it protects the people from negative outside influence and keeps it from being smashed. Power to the Patriots. I'll see you in episode 1. God bless.